The story of Avatar: The Last Airbender begins with the discovery of Aang, the last air nomad, encased in ice by Katara and Sokka. But what if Aang had perished in the ice, and the Avatar spirit had reincarnated in Katara instead? This alternate history shifts the narrative dramatically, altering the destinies of Team Avatar, the war with the Fire Nation, and the balance of the world itself. In this timeline, Katara, born in the Southern Water Tribe, begins her journey as a waterbender with a latent but potent connection to the Avatar spirit. Aang's death in the iceberg cuts short the air nomad's direct influence, leaving the world without an airbending avatar for over a decade. As the Fire Nation continues its war of conquest, Katara unknowingly grows up as the next avatar, her destiny intertwined with a responsibility she does not yet comprehend. When Katara and Sokka discover the iceberg, they do not find Aang alive, but instead remnants of his presence, his glider, and the faint glow of energy that signals the Avatar spirit's transition. This discovery shakes Katara, who begins experiencing vivid dreams and flashes of past lives, from Kyoshi to Roku. These visions, combined with her innate waterbending skills, hint at her greater role. Initially, Katara is confused and overwhelmed by the implications, but Sokka's support and their shared determination to fight the Fire Nation compel her to begin seeking answers. As the Fire Nation's shadow looms over her village, Katara's early struggles with her powers mirror her growing understanding of the Avatar's role. She starts seeing the connections between her waterbending and the spiritual duties she feels called to undertake. But the burden of responsibility begins to weigh on her. Her first real test comes when she fends off a small group of Fire Nation soldiers scouting near their village. Though successful, the skirmish reveals how unprepared she truly is. As Katara's powers grow, so does her sense of responsibility. The absence of Aang shifts the timeline drastically. The Fire Nation's Prince Zuko's search for the Avatar now focuses on rumors of a waterbender in the south who shows extraordinary abilities. This forces Katara and Sokka to leave their home sooner than in the original timeline, embarking on a perilous journey across frozen tundras and war-torn lands. Guided by her visions and a growing sense of duty, Katara seeks formal training. Her arrival at the Northern Water Tribe marks a turning point. Master Pakku initially rejects her due to tradition, but her display of raw talent and her status as the Avatar eventually win him over. The training sequences are grueling, but they highlight Katara's determination and adaptability. Her bond with Yue, the tribe's princess, also deepens as she learns about the interconnectedness of waterbending and the moon spirit. One pivotal moment during her waterbending training occurs when she must defend the tribe against a sudden Fire Nation raid. Forced into combat, Katara discovers the power of the Avatar state for the first time, channeling tidal waves and icy spears to drive the attackers back. The event leaves her shaken, as she realizes the destruction she is capable of. During their travels, Katara and Sokka encounter a band of traveling performers known as the Elemental Players. The troupe dramatizes exaggerated tales of the Avatar's past lives, and the siblings are roped into helping with a play about Avatar Kyoshi. Katara ends up taking on the lead role to keep their identities hidden. The comedic mishaps in the play provide a lighthearted interlude and emphasize Katara's growing connection to her past lives. By the time they part ways, the performers gift Katara a small amulet bearing Kyoshi's emblem, which she treasures as a reminder of her responsibility. Katara's next step is learning earthbending. Her search leads her and Sokka to a bustling Earth Kingdom town where they encounter Toph Beifong, the blind earthbender who dominates underground earthbending tournaments. Toph's initial resistance to joining them is rooted in her desire for independence, but Katara's earnestness and shared experiences of feeling underestimated forge a bond between the two. Toph's teaching style is harsh and unyielding, designed to challenge Katara's reliance on the fluidity of waterbending. "Stop dancing around it," Toph growls during one of their first lessons, slamming her foot into the ground to create an impassable wall of stone. "Face it head-on." Katara's initial attempts at earthbending are clumsy, her movements too soft and hesitant. The turning point comes during an ambush by Fire Nation soldiers, where Katara instinctively uses earthbending to shield Sokka from an attack. The experience solidifies her connection to the element, teaching her the importance of being resolute and grounded. While traveling through the Earth Kingdom, the group stumbles upon a small mining village suffering under a corrupt governor. The miners are forced to work in dangerous conditions, with the wealth hoarded by the governor and his loyal guards. Katara and Toph use their bending to expose hidden tunnels, where the governor hides stolen goods. In an intense showdown, Katara's ability to combine water and earth bending leads to the governor's downfall, inspiring the villagers to stand up for themselves. This side story showcases her growing confidence and ability to inspire others. Toph's tough love approach pushes Katara to her limits, but it also strengthens their friendship. Their journey together teaches Katara to appreciate Toph's fierce independence, while she learns to respect Katara's nurturing but determined nature. One night, as they camp by a quiet lake, Toph confesses that teaching the Avatar has made her feel like she's finally proving her worth beyond her parents' expectations. Firebending presents the greatest challenge for Katara, both emotionally and physically. Her memories of the Fire Nation's destruction of her home fuel a deep resentment, making it difficult for her to embrace the element. The opportunity to learn firebending arises when Zuko, now estranged from his father and seeking redemption, offers to teach her. Their training begins tensely. Katara's mistrust of Zuko's motives creates friction, but his patient and humble demeanor eventually wins her over. Their lessons often take place at sunrise, with Zuko demonstrating firebending techniques while explaining their connection to breath and energy. Firebending isn't just destruction, he tells her during one session. It's life. It's the drive to keep going, no matter what. While traveling with Zuko, the group stumbles upon a Fire Nation village suffering under an overzealous military commander. Katara, initially wary of revealing her identity, reluctantly helps Zuko liberate the village. Her use of firebending to protect the townspeople earns their gratitude, forcing her to reconsider her assumptions about the Fire Nation as a whole. The act of helping rebuild the village's burnt farmlands becomes a small but powerful moment of healing for her. Katara's breakthrough comes during a heated argument with Zuko, where her anger triggers an uncontrolled burst of flames. Recognizing her mistake, she begins to approach firebending with the same emotional balance she uses in waterbending, learning to temper her passion with control. Over time, the animosity between her and Zuko fades, replaced by mutual respect and an understanding of their shared burdens. On a quiet night, Zuko shares the story of his mother, which deepens their bond and helps Katara reconcile her feelings about the Fire Nation. The Day of the Comet marks the culmination of Katara's journey. With firebending amplified to catastrophic levels, Fire Lord Ozai sets out to annihilate the Earth Kingdom, declaring himself the Phoenix King and preparing to burn the world into submission. Katara, fully realized in her avatar abilities, assembles her companions, Sokka, Toph, Zuko, and the redeemed Mai and Ty Lee, to stop Ozai's reign of terror. They devise a bold plan to infiltrate the fleet and confront the Fire Lord before the Earth Kingdom is reduced to ash. As the group splits up to disable the massive airships, Katara focuses on reaching Ozai, her resolve steeled for the final battle. The confrontation takes place atop a massive airship hurtling through a sky choked with ash and fire. Ozai, blazing with the comet's power, exudes a terrifying arrogance. "You are nothing but a waterbender playing with fire," he sneers. "You cannot hope to match me." Katara, undaunted, enters the Avatar state. Her glowing eyes and tattoos signal her connection to the collective wisdom and power of past avatars. The battlefield becomes a tempest of the four elements, as Katara channels her mastery. Waves of water clash against torrents of fire, shards of earth disrupt Ozai's footing, and gusts of air deflect his relentless attacks. Each strike is a test of her resolve, and each movement reminds her of the weight of the world she carries. As the battle rages, Ozai gains the upper hand, using the comet's power to unleash a firestorm that consumes everything in its path. Katara, drawing on her waterbending prowess, creates a massive tidal wave to extinguish the flames, but the effort leaves her momentarily vulnerable. Seizing the opportunity, Ozai strikes with a ferocious blast of fire that forces her to retreat. Katara's thoughts race. She remembers the teachings of her masters and the struggles of her journey. The patience of water, the strength of earth, the breath of fire, and the freedom of air. She channels everything she's learned, blending the elements in a display of raw power and precision. When Ozai launches a final devastating attack, Katara counters with a vortex of water and fire, trapping him in a swirling cyclone. With Ozai subdued and on his knees, Katara faces a pivotal choice. The Avatar state whispers of justice, of ending the Fire Lord's tyranny forever. But memories of her people's suffering, the death of her mother, and the destruction wrought by the Fire Nation cloud her mind. Unlike Aang, Katara has always harbored a righteous fury against the Fire Nation's cruelty. Now, standing over the man responsible for so much pain, she feels the weight of her anger. Ozai mocks her hesitation. "You don't have it in you, child. Mercy is weakness. The cycle will continue, and someone stronger will rise to take my place." His words ignite something within her. Katara recalls Avatar Kyoshi's unapologetic stance on justice and Roku's regret at allowing the Fire Lord to live. She sees the faces of her family, her friends, and the countless lives lost in the war. The fire of determination burns brighter than ever. "I'm not doing this for vengeance," Katara says, her voice steady. "I'm doing this to end the cycle." Summoning the power of the Avatar state, Katara channels the elements into a final, devastating blow. A torrent of water, fire, earth, and air converge, consuming Ozai in a brilliant, blinding storm. When the light fades, he is gone, reduced to ashes. The battlefield falls silent. The destruction of Ozai sends shockwaves through the Fire Nation fleet. Leaderless and demoralized, the remaining soldiers retreat, leaving the Earth Kingdom in peace for the first time in a century. Katara, drained and somber, descends from the airship to find her companions waiting. They see the weariness in her eyes and understand the gravity of what she has done. Zuko, now the rightful Fire Lord, pledges to rebuild his nation and guide it toward peace. "You made the hard choice," he tells Katara, "but it was the right one. My father's tyranny ends here." Katara, though burdened by the act, finds solace in her friend's support. Together, they return to the Earth Kingdom, where the people greet them as heroes. Yet, amidst the celebration, Katara struggles with the weight of her decision. The echoes of the Avatar state linger, a reminder of the immense power and responsibility she wields. In the weeks following the battle, Katara begins the arduous work of restoring balance. She travels across the Earth Kingdom and Fire Nation, mediating disputes and aiding in reconstruction. Her journey brings her to the Southern Water Tribe, where she reunites with her family and reflects on how far she has come. One night, as she sits by the ocean, meditating under the moonlight, the spirit of Avatar Kyoshi appears. "You have walked a difficult path," Kyoshi says, her voice steady and proud, "but you have brought justice and balance to the world. Remember, the Avatar is not perfect, but your choices shape the future." These words offer Katara a sense of closure. She continues her work not as a flawless hero, but as a person striving to make the world a better place.